tous. Ouais, je peux je vais pas... Ouais, je pourrais monter d'un cran et ça serait peut-être plus agréable. Très bien. Bonsoir à tous, bonsoir YouTube. On est parti pour le 17e épisode de Disco Elysium et à mon avis c'est la fin. On a l'air d'être un peu sur la fin quoi.
Welcome to the fucking reckoning. Put your damn gun down. People are gonna get hurt. We need to talk this through. All right?
Shut up! You're not gonna talk yourself out of this, loincloth shit fuck.
This is the mercenary at the gates. His chest rises and falls under the ceramic breastplate. His fingers reach for the butt of his sidearm.
Kim, what's going on? Le lieutenant lève sa main gauche.
This is a misunderstanding. Nothing irreversible has happened yet. You can just return to your unit and forget all about this.
The Kypt is merciful, willing to spare us if we just forget about our murdered and humiliated commander. I think we should just kill everyone, Corty.
You are all drunk. Come to your senses. You won't gun down 7 people in the middle of the street? This isn't a frontier town or a jungle outpost.
Easy, Lizzie. Let me handle it. I know guys like this. I'm sure we can come to a peaceful agreement. Ain't that right, fellas?
Peaceful.
C'est comme si la silhouette revêtue de l'armure était en train de pleurer.
Nest in your abdominal cavity, like a little wild mouse. The masked man's words are barely intelligible, but you can hear them.
Fuck, there's a third one. How did we miss something like this?
Le lieutenant désigne la silhouette casquée.
The lieutenant is genuinely worried for his life. You should consult him before getting in there.
On fait quoi?
My plan is not to get killed, but we have to intervene.
Police!
Get lost, comedian. You cops had your chance. Now it's fucking time for some justice.
Se lèche les lèvres en brandissant son arme devant la foule. Pendant un instant, l'équilibre, il chancelle. Perdant un instant l'équilibre, il chancelle en arrière.
Pig fuck!
Un faux mouvement et je vous dégomme. Doucement, personne ne va crever aujourd'hui.
No, people are gonna die today. We're not leaving it like this. These tribals hung him up for everyone to see.
C'est vrai.
No one is going to kill anyone. Let's just put the guns down and talk like civilized human beings.
With a wordless gurgle, the killer loads his long rifle. The leader gives a small nod to the helmeted man. You feel your fists contract as you stand there between these men, all carrying real weapons. You really, really should have a gun in your hand by now. Or something dangerous. This feels scary. No, it's okay. Soften him up and trust the others to attack if it comes to that. Make him talk. Present an argument. I'm barely keeping you together here. This is it. If you talk to him, he will rattle you, not the other way around. Peace. Always peace. It has worked thus far. Start with the first idea you have. Move down from that. Please.
Ah, on va essayer de balancer la rhétorique. On y croit à mort?
All right, here we go. This is an illegal tribunal. Crano would never sanction this. Who's the commanding officer? Take your pick. You only have time for one argument. Choose wisely.
Juste une question, qui s'occupe de votre unité depuis la mort de votre colonel?
I am a Grinnell Major with over 15 years of live combat experience. When my colonel gets hanged by clay monkeys, I lead the platoon on a retaliation strike.
Vous avez donc le plus haut gradé de vous trois.
Nah, I just have the biggest gun.
Frappe sa poitrine blindée similaire à un tonneau.
Technically, the other man has the biggest gun. But we're beyond that now.
C'est quoi le grade le plus élevé chez Crenel?
King Reaper.
En tant que leader de ce groupe, reconsidérez vos actions. On peut éviter le bain de sang.
You're right. But you see, I want it to end in bloodshed.
Okay, it's not much. But he's thinking about something else. And his hand is off the gun. This did something. Easy now. Tell them these men didn't do it. There's a peaceful way out.
C'est chaud ça, hein. Même si je fais ça, on peut essayer parler du pendu. Allez, 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 allez.
Dangerous.
Nice.
Ask about him first. You don't want personal facts about his dead friend coming out of your mouth. He has to start it.
Je sais bien que vous n'étiez pas le chef des Roufions.
Yeah, I don't fucking act so well. Laylee had a hard-on for making faces for you natives. Fucking food aid shit. That shit is done now. Trigger time.
Qui êtes-vous, un major?
Sergeant Major Raoul Cortiner, reporting in to burn this fucking mud hut to the ground.
Il monte le whirling in rags.
As he moves, the interlocking pieces of his armor click softly. Click, click, click. The realization comes to you like a picture puzzle coming together. His name is Raoul Courtenard. The dead man's name is Elise Courtenard.
Ah.
He's brothers with the deceased.
J'avais pas tilté sur le nom.
No, probably foster brothers. Elise was put into a foster home, remember?
For killing, maiming, and humiliating our commanding officer, you're all sentenced to death by lead.
Cortener, je connais ce nom.
He sways from left to right, inspecting you.
Raoul et Elise. Cortener. Je suis désolé pour votre frère, Raoul.
He wasn't my fucking brother. We just grew up on the same farm and got beat into place by the same sick fuck.
Et après, dans la même académie militaire, dans la même unité, dans la même guerre.
Same fucking mud hut town, too.
Il regarde autour de lui, puis s'essuie le visage de son gant blindé.
Okay, good.
Ses parents l'ont abandonné dans un putain de compacteur à feuilles.
Laylee.
Ouais, quand il était petit, encore un nourrisson.
We researched him. We contacted the ICP and looked at his birth records. That was in there. And other things.
They fucking put Laylee in a leaf compactor, and now these cunts finished the job.
Il fait un geste vers le gang blotti près des portes.
It's a mindfuck, Corty. He wasn't put in a leaf compactor. They're making it up to fuck with us. Major, permission to.
Open fire. We can't have that. Interfere now.
Écoutez, votre Lily, tout le monde dit du bien de lui, c'était un beau parleur.
Fuck do you mean, talker?
We've heard testimony. People say he was charismatic, a nice guy to be around.
Yeah, he liked to chat up the natives. Share leaflets. Squeeze a bit of kip-tass here and there. Great fucking idea that turned out to be.
Il monte du doigt la cour.
If Laylee was here, he would spare the lot of you. Maybe shoot one for show. But me, I'm not a big fan of public affairs, Clay Monkey. I'll gun every one of you down for what you did.
Ready to open fire, Major.
Et
At
yo,
your
Faco.
command.
Comment va, Faco Chéro? Incroyable. Il avait les yeux bleus, n'est-ce pas, votre frère?
Baby blue, yeah. Like someone fucked up and put a baby's eyes on a grown man.
Il sourit en bougeant son visage d'une manière étrange.
It was creepy, but bitches like that shit, I guess. Or, I don't know what bitches like. I just know how to mow down cloths.
T'as pas sur Diablo? Ah putain, t'as la préco et tout, là. T'as fait le richos, là. Lâché 100 balles. Non, non, je viens de commencer, là. De toute façon, il va être assez court, puisqu'on est sur la fin, là. Ah, 80 balles. Ouais, écoute, moi j'ai payé version standard, ce sera demain ou après-demain. Après-demain. Puis voilà quoi. Votre ferme méritait pas de partir comme ça, je le promets, je trouverai son assassin.
Find his killer. Cop, his killer stands right there, shitting his pants, and you're standing in the way, protecting them. I know what this tactic is, Silo Sam. You're gonna die for them. Right here. Today.
T'as repris le boulot? Ouais, ouais. Ça fait déjà 2 semaines là.
Big talk, but that leaf compactor won't leave his mind anytime soon. It's a small thing, but it got him off center.
C'est qui ça, désigner l'homme? Je sais pas que vous étiez 3.
Rude. Rude is the killer. Rude, the killer. Owen Cloven. He doesn't talk much.
All of you cunts inside out.
Pardon, rude?
Rip you open.
Le tueur?
The gunner. The raddest. The killer.
Il indique la silhouette entièrement revêtue d'une armure en céramique. On t'entend respirer. Ah merde. Pardon. Ti-di-di-di. Il tue.
Smart loincloth. He fucks natives up. Soldier of the apocalypse style.
Écoutez, ils n'ont rien fait.
Yeah? Who did then?
Bah, je sais pas qui est le tueur en fait. Je pense pas que ça soit Ruby. Je pense pas que ça soit Titus. Clash J, c'est possible en vrai. En plus, je l'ai coffré. Donc honnêtement, il n'y a pas de problème. Ou alors c'était quelqu'un d'autre. Mais le problème, c'est que si j'apporte rien, ils vont s'entrebuter, quoi. Donc qu'est-ce qu'on joue la carte safe? De dire c'est Clash J et de toute façon elle est au poste, donc voilà. Ou est-ce qu'on dit c'était quelqu'un d'autre? Je pense pas que ça soit Clash J en vrai. On va essayer de la jouer honnête. Ça va partir en sucette, mais on va la jouer honnête. C'était quelqu'un d'autre, quelqu'un qui n'est pas là maintenant.
How fucking convenient.
Il vous regarde d'un air alcoolisé puis il remet la main sur son arme.
His fingers are twitching. That's a draw reflex. He's about to draw.
Il a été abattu à très longue distance par un sniper.
You think I'm fucking stupid, cop? What if I just shot one of your pals here, right now, huh? How about the kid? Tell me, it's a magic fucking sniper one more time.
Listen, please. This cop and this drumhead cop marshal won't decide who...
Alors on va essayer de réfléchir.
Your mind grinds to a halt. All you can see is the revolver in the man's armored hand.
Putain.
Swaying, pointed at her. You move your mouth like a fish gasping for air.
Elle était même pas là.
He pulls the trigger. A plume of smoke erupts from the muzzle. The shot rings in your ears. A low, tinny ring. Then the Hardy Boys yell something.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
La femme se tient le flanc gauche. Elle est touchée. Sa chemise blanche s'imbibe de rouge d'un rouge sang venant de son abdomen. Elle a l'aide pour respirer.
Fuck this!
L'homme commence à sortir quelque chose de sa poche.
Gene! Cancel Lizzie! Now!
He'll be ripped apart. They all will. The moment the third man opens fire, and he knows it.
En présentant de Wild Pine, ça prouve pas ça du tout.
You think I care what that company cunt thinks?
C'est un rire qui sonne creux. Wild Pine ne vous pardonnera pas si vous massacrez un paquet de gens
The
innocents.
man stares at you with bloodshot eyes, a bull ready to charge. He's not listening, but looking for an opening. Now is not a good time to strike. He's looking right at your hands. Do something else. Get him distracted.
Et Railway, non, je pense juste la fin, tranquille. On travaille ensemble, elle sait que vous êtes hors de contrôle, elle me l'a dit.
She's gone, you stupid fuck. Sailed off 5 minutes ago. She doesn't give a shit about you, Silos.
Stay cool! How is she?
I'll be okay. I'll be...
Elle pose sa main ensanglantée sur son cœur et commence à trembler.
She'll be gone soon, too. Company bitch is gone. Lely's gone. Fuck are we still doing in this shithole?
On regarde autour de lui, il a l'air soudainement fatigué. Triste même.
Guys,
Et puis,
just get in the way. I don't even have a gun.
Hold your ground. Any more of you run, I'll shoot you myself. We're doing this together.
Vous êtes bourrés tous, regardez-vous.
Yes. So what?
Votre jugement est affecté, vous allez le regretter.
Nah. I'm clear as day. Fucking government ordained super soldier.
Enough already! What is this? We didn't come here to fucking chat!
Interrupt me again and I will execute you on the spot, Lance Corporal.
Un filet de salive jaunâtre apparaît autour de la bouche alors qu'il profère cette déclaration. Pourquoi je n'ai pas retrouvé mon flingue?
What's that, loincloth?
Bah
I
ouais.
can't hear you. Sounds like you got your mouth full of dick. Rude.
Shit, this is it. Tell him anything. Tell him you have more information.
Dieu et moi, vous ne saurez jamais qui a tué le colonel. Je vous ai pas tout dit.
Rude. Kill him.
Ah, dur.
The porcelain man raises his rifle and takes aim at you. His hands are steady, and the long barrel of the rifle sways slowly. An Easter AR-FA7 built for taking out light armored vehicles. It will devastate you.
Évitez le tir.
You leap left. A swarm of angry lead hornets passes mere millimeters from your side. Feels like they're almost touching your naked skin.
Je ne peux pas être tué, je suis
The
devenu
man
immortel.
tilts his head, trying to see through the clearing smoke for the next shot. Watch out. To your left, DePaul is about to take a shot too, at Kim.
God, please.
Murmure le lieutenant sans trembler. Il vise le visage blême.
He's aiming for the eye slot in Rude's helmet. An extremely difficult shot. 2 shots ring at once. One from the lieutenant's pistol, and the other from DePaul's. It's aimed at the lieutenant, but it misses. You hear a scream behind you.
Qui a hurlé?
Glenn, dying
merde.
in a puddle of blood behind you. His
Bon, c'était un
mangled
connard, Glenn.
torso has 2 gunshot wounds. Blood gushes out of them like red geysers. Oh God, watch out. You see 2 cold eyes looking at you through all the smoke and panic, and a pistol raised, aiming at your chest, point blank. Then the man squeezes the trigger.
Regardez dans les yeux.
Look of happiness. His eyes seem unnaturally bright, shining like stars. Something in the fear must distort him somehow. He is evil, and the end. Here it comes. Death.
Bah non, rien tenté. Hein. C'est pareil de toute façon. This is the end.
You simply blink, then something inside your pelvis explodes. Your entire lower body is on fire and your legs can't support you. You fall down like a rag doll. The pain is too immense to scream. It pushes the air out of your lungs. Everything goes dark, a distant blur as you recede into it.
Écoutez à travers les ténèbres et la douleur.
The Hardy Boys are yelling. Someone is running, jumping over you. In the background you hear gunfire shatter glass, and then a man in pain. A familiar sound. It's Titus with a splat like meat. You hear bullets rip into him. His voice, still giving orders, grows fainter. A gurgle. He's not gonna make it.
Essayez d'ouvrir les yeux.
Nothing. A persisting darkness. Dancing lights of pain. Distant shadows cast by them. Like a hellish play.
You're bleeding out.
Une silhouette émerge et s'agenouille au-dessus de vous. Une voix familière teintée d'urgence et de peur. Il fait tellement noir.
Stay with me. You hear me? Stay awake. Look at me.
But you can't. It's so hard. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the sounds ever more distant. And a cold comes over you. The lieutenant, too, is somewhere far away, almost gone. When suddenly, you sense something behind him. A shadow towering. Someone stands there, raising his pistol at him. The lieutenant does not see it. He's pushing down on your wound with both hands. Scream immediately. He's gonna die.
Mon Kim!
No, you scream. Behind you, from your bloody lips. Your eyes are full of fear. There is no room for hesitation. The lieutenant turns around and fires, his body falling on yours in the course of the motion. You hear a roar of pain, a death scream. The sound disappears like someone pressed stop on the tape. The hulking figure, too, is gone. And so is Kim. And the whole world.
This is death. One more door, baby. One more door.
On se prend retour au combat.
Fight? There is no fight. The fight is over. It was lost 1,000 years ago. You have laid here forever. Keep falling deeper. He's not taking it. His body is not taking it. Oh God, no. He's not disintegrating. He's swelling up instead. Over the hours, hurting, moaning in his sleep, and rotting, and being disinfected, and smelling of drugs, and feeling saliva in his mouth, drifting in painkillers, thrashing in his wound sleep.
He can't go. Not before the case is solved. There is a radio in the distance. A radio of the world. Playing sounds. Good morning, Elysium. Soon you will return to the world.
Hours turn to days. Soon we will get up again and go through it again. Finally we know what the infernal engine was outside. The clarion call.
The engine of a Caprice Kinema.
No, it was him. He is the infernal engine. Can't you see? He never stops. He only gets worse.
You see the lieutenant's familiar shape in the orange jacket. It turns double, then triple, from the pain.
Kim?
Sunrise, Parabellum.
Dit le lieutenant. Il est au milieu d'une pièce récemment nettoyée, avec le ventilateur formant comme un halo au-dessus de sa tête. Son visage est couvert de bleu. Qu'est-ce que vous avez dit, Sunrise?
Sunrise Parabellum. Sunrise, prepare for war. It's an old revolutionary saying.
C'est la guerre aujourd'hui?
The gates of the harbor are boarded up. The streets are a little more empty. Apocalyptic violence is yet to erupt, I am relieved to say. I think we may have held it off, for now. Barely.
Bien.
Yes, we have also completely failed. But that's okay.
Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé?
What happened? We tried to take the diplomatic route and hoped they wouldn't attack first. They did. The major gave the command.
Et alors?
As
Après?
retaliation, their rifleman tried shooting you. He missed, or you dodged.
Et ensuite?
I shot and wounded him, while Glenn took a bullet in the spine. It was meant for me. He did not survive.
This is not the first person to die in his place. He goes on.
Titus, Fat Angus, and Theo charged. Angus and Theo died before they made it to intensive care. Titus died in the hospital yesterday. Alain and the young musician, I forget his name, they are all that's left.
Titus est mort?
Yes. You were bleeding out by then. You warned me. I was able to disarm Cortana before he got the jump on me. I was not able to kill him, as I should have. Crenel took him. A stray bullet killed the Pole, though. And that's what happened.
Combien de victimes du côté du syndicat au total?
5. Glenn, Theo, Angus, the fat one. He took a lot of bullets. And Titus. And Elizabeth, too. Elizabeth Beaufort was her name. The gardener.
Un pas survécu?
No, she bled out before Everard's surgeon could help her. Everard sent his personal doctor, but a costly loss for the Union. She was being trained for leadership.
Si j'avais mieux présenté la théorie à leur chef.
She never had a chance. She should not have been there in the first place. There was no way to convince them.
Je croyais que vous ne fumiez qu'une seule fois par jour.
This is the one.
Et le major?
He's in a private hospital across the river. Colonel claimed him from the local butcher shop where Titus died. Turns out he's insured. We won't get to him anymore. The good news is he's not coming here either. I did some damage.
Et c'est?
All.
Un désastre total, quoi.
Yes, officer. 6 people are dead. It's not a success. But what's done is done. The violence is cordoned off. The Hornets did not get into the beehive. The worst scenario has not materialized. And we are still alive. Both of us.
C'est vrai.
He did not expect you both to survive once you stepped between those two armies.
L'Eurovest, Kim, vous l'avez enlevé?
Yes. The joke wasn't funny anymore. I took it off.
Quel est l'entendu de mes blessures?
Reasonably bad. You were shot in the left quadriceps. That's your thigh. The outer side, thankfully, no major arteries were nicked. The bullet was removed and a bacterial infection treated with mercurochrome.
Mercurochrome? Est-ce que je peux marcher?
We will see.
You won't be able to dance much, that's for sure. You should be able to live with limping around, though.
Quelqu'un de mon pote est venu me voir?
No.
N'est-ce pas étrange?
I called your station after the fight. The injury was logged in. They told me they've sent officers to join you on the site.
Et vous les avez pas vus?
I'm sure they're worried about you.
That means he hasn't seen them around while you were out. They're not really worried about you. If they were, wouldn't they be here? Sorry. He may have some idea, but he's not gonna get into it with you.
Ok.
Easy now.
Le lieutenant se dédouble à nouveau sous vos yeux. Nuance d'oranger de douleur.
Your balance is way off. You feel like you're about to fall over on that thing.
How are you?
Mes jours disco sont derrière moi.
Your disco days should have been done quite a while back, Lieutenant Freighter.
Que se passe-t-il exactement?
I honestly don't know.
Vous ne savez
We
pas?
can't talk to Everhart. The harbor is in lockdown. Everyone in there is outside our grasp now. And Joyce has left too.
Joyce?
Yes, she left yesterday morning. To meet the board of Wild Pines, or that is what I've heard. There's a pin somewhere in the machine that keeps Connell from sending in a death squad. Maybe it's her. Maybe she kept her end. Either way, Ruby's gone, and Classia, well, at least she's safely locked away.
Pensez qu'elle pourrait nous être utile?
Locked up? No, she would be of more use to us three, honestly. But it was the right thing to do.
Qui l'a fait alors? Qui a tué le pendu?
I don't know. I think the theory you presented, it's someone else, outside our circle of suspects, was right. It better be. Everyone within the circle is either dead or gone. Honestly, I think our investigation has not produced a single credible suspect.
Trou dans le mur, quelqu'un la
I
regardait?
don't know. That's been there for years.
Le putain de muguet.
What?
Celle-là, vous vous souvenez?
Every piece of garbage in the city is not connected to the case. You don't have to keep everything.
He's wrong.
Donc, Kim, toutes les ordures de cette ville sont liées à l'affaire.
Okay.
Les empreintes.
Yes. God curse the footprints, not solving the case for us. Au diable.
Il y a encore 28% de chance que le tir soit de loin.
We should go upstairs, rethink the ballistics in situ. I agree with this. What else?
Il y a tous ces vieux bunkers et caches d'armes aux alentours.
We could find thousands more if we wanted. All of Revachol is full of them.
But they seemed so mysterious.
J'arrive pas à croire que ce soit inutile.
No need to be melodramatic. I'm
Oh
listening.
merde! savez ce que je pense de résoudre ces crimes?
I'm ready to hear what you think about solving crimes now.
Résoudre des crimes... Ah bah c'est compliqué, oui.
It really is very hard.
On n'est pas prêt à abandonner, c'est ça?
No. Are you ready to limp?
Ouais.
Good. Where do you want to limp to?
On devrait vérifier la chambre.
Why not? Another look at the window, perhaps? The one he was shot through. I don't know. I can't think of anything better.
C'est pas du tout fini, quoi. Bon, c'est très mal passé, hein.
Two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman having sex. A ray of backward motion
C'est un
explodes
prank.
from his mouth to the roof outside, A prime, to then widen into a radius of locations in Martinez, B prime, B double prime, and B triple prime.
Quel est le point d'origine, bordel?
It's not the roof, and had it come from the coast, you would have probably stumbled upon it while you were running around over there. This leaves the island in the bay.
Je crois que le tir vient de l'îlot.
It's not impossible. There is a narrow opening between the commercial area and the collapsed tenement north of it.
Il y a des ruines sur cet îlot. Une forteresse marine engloutie, je l'ai vu grâce au télézoom à pièce.
I remember.
Le lieutenant sort la tête par la fenêtre pour observer la baie. C'est un autre emplacement qu'on n'a pas encore éliminé.
So it is.
For a second he seems tired.
J'ai un moyen de
Just
m'emballer.
haven't gotten a lot of sleep these past few days.
He doesn't really believe this will yield anything.
Je crois qu'il va falloir aller sur l'île. Allez, on y va.
Okay, let's go to the fucking island.
S'interrompt une seconde pour rassembler ses esprits.
How do we get there? Joyce Messier had a sloop, but she's gone.
Lillian Carter, la releveuse de filet, elle goudronne son bateau.
Ah, yes, of course. The village. Let's go.
Putain, mais en vrai, en fait, tu peux pas finir l'enquête sans ça, quoi. Quoi? Tu peux pas finir l'enquête sans ça. En fait, t'es obligé d'arriver au gros bordel intercontinental avant de... Oh putain, il doit être au bout de sa vie.
Seeing you approach, the bruised man clenches his fists.
Oh, it's you. Didn't think we'd see you walking anytime soon. Elaine, look. It's the cowardly cop.
Huh? What?
Il lève les yeux, le regard embrumé, comme s'il venait d'émerger d'un profond
Our
sommeil.
condolences for your losses.
Il va bien?
Does he look like he's okay?
He does not. His unshaven face is almost grey, and he reeks of piss, sweat, and booze. While still alive, he has abandoned his own body to decomposition.
Il était gravement blessé?
He wasn't. That's the thing. Titus, Theo, Dennis, Angie, they're all gone. But he got away without a scratch.
There's nothing left. Nothing.
This is a broken man. He probably feels that he should have been able to protect the others somehow. And now he feels guilty for not dying with them. Or instead of them.
Qu'est-ce que tu penses de ça, Kim?
I'm not suggesting much. All I'm saying is, he lost everything.
Vous en sortirez.
The eyes looking back at you from the narrow face are those of a dead man. He's not gonna get over it.
Yeah, you too.
Allez, à plus.
It's a rough world out there. Both of you. We shouldn't have fucked with you like we did. You got between us and a lot of bullets in that fight. Matinees owes you one.
That's kind of you to say. Take care of your friend, okay?
I will. You take care of yours.
Faut-il en hochant la tête dans votre direction?
A sharp pain shoots up your side and into your stomach. You must not look too good. Luckily, it passes.
C'est un bordel sans nom, cette enquête là. Ce sera le retour près de toi. Ce sera de retour près de toi.
The graffito has been painted over the traces of the fight that took place here. It smells of blood and heavy fuel oil. This was Cindy the Skull.
On dirait bien que Cindy à Cabochard a finalement trouvé un mot pour son
The
chef-d'œuvre.
lieutenant crouches, touching the fuel oil with...
Looks like it, yes. This is still fresh. It wasn't here yesterday.
Ça sent le mazout.
And blood. Some of it is even yours.
Heavy fuel oil. Isn't that flammable?
Allez, vas-y, on
The
allume ça.
fuel oil catches fire immediately with a low hiss. A bright orange flash across the surface of the lettering. The falling snow turns to vapor above the burning message, mingling with the black smoke.
This collision.
The lieutenant has taken a small step back. He looks at your face illuminated by the flames and nods silently. Then the flames warmed him too. Not at all in a bad way.
Let's go to that island.
Slowly, the flames subside, the fuel burning out. The air still smells of mazout and springtime.
Tintin. Oh vas-y, je peux courir quand même. Pire, je prendrai les cachetons. Regarde, il est en pleine forme là. Il a une pêche d'enfer. Ta-ta-ta-ta.
Officer Harry, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
J'ai été blessé au pied, on a tout déchiré, le spectacle vous aurez pu... Non. Les gens m'ont fait du mal.
Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
You didn't only get shot.
J'ai évité le second tir, je peux également faire en sorte de ne pas être blessé.
Well, good for you.
Vous aurez vu la gueule de l'autre type, hein. Lui, il est
So you're a
cané, hein.
killer. That's good, I guess.
Bien sûr, je suis un
guess.
buteur, moi. Je suis un
Better
chien
than being
dingue.
dead.
Je suis un tueur, mais je suis un tueur sans armes. Une balle dans le buffet, ça te retient normal, c'est clair. Je suis agent de police.
Hi. I guess you are.
Oh, la
Of
pauvre.
course. Can I help you with something?
Nous devons nous rendre sur cette île.
That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tar just dried. We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead.
Est-ce qu'on peut emprunter votre bateau?
If you promise to bring it back, and no scraping the hull, I just got it nice and yellow, and no drinking on the boat, and no joyriding either.
Of
Un
course,
rodéo
ma'am.
en bateau.
It's only for a day or two. Official police business.
Aye.
Merci.
The crow's feet disappear from the corners of her eyes. as she smiles at you.
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a sur cette île? J'ai aperçu des ruines avec la jumelle.
Used to be some kind of fortification there before the war. For the communards. An anti-aircraft gun, I think, bombed to bits in the landing. I haven't been there myself. Always steered clear of it.
Hasn't been there herself. Who has then?
Est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose que je dois savoir avant d'aller là-bas?
Well, most of it's sunken. Underwater. That means concrete underwater. Cut your boat if you're not careful. Be sure to enter from the south side. Water's deep there.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Merci.
Please be conservative with the fuel, will you? Just filled her up, but it's a small tank.
Et yo, Childebert! Bienvenue. Arrêtez de sourire, tu parles du portrait? Là? Ici? Lui? Ouais, le portrait. En gros, c'est un jet de dés au niveau du miroir. Quand tu te vois dans le miroir, t'as 2 jets de dés. Assez difficiles. Et il y en a un des deux qui te permet ça. Ne pas avoir la tête de psycho, quoi. « 3% ouais. Mais alors t'en as un qui est 3% parce que c'est un impossible. Et le deuxième jet, je crois que t'as un peu plus et après bah tu peux monter tes stats en fait. T'es pas obligé de les faire tout de suite. Hein. T'as le temps. Hein. Tu peux laisser avancer dans le jeu et tranquillou, tranquillou essayer tes jets de dés après quoi. La majorité des jets de dés en fait ils sont pas obligatoirement à faire maintenant. Tu peux attendre à chaque fois. Hein. Pour les très difficiles, des fois, il y a 2-3 astuces. Il y a aussi intérioriser des trucs qui vont te permettre de réussir des jets de dés. Des jets de dés extrêmement difficiles. Puis après, sinon, c'est tes caractéristiques, quoi. Mettre des points dedans.
Once you get in, that's it. One pull of the starter handle, and you're off into the bay. A strange trepidation comes over you. Are you sure you want to go now?
De me refaire une reine. Bon, t'as fini le jeu déjà? Ok, moi là je suis sur la fin du coup. Je viens de passer la fusillade. Et du coup j'ai une demande. C'est de savoir à peu près combien de temps de jeu il me reste.
Have you made all the necessary preparations? Closed all your accounts? Remember what the netpicker said. It's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on this.
Bah, j'ai quoi d'autre à faire ici? Et je crois que j'ai des bugs moi. Il y a beaucoup de blabla, ça dépend si tu fais encore des quêtes annexes. Non, moi ça par exemple, tu vois, c'est un bug. Mais j'en ai eu quelques-uns. Hein. Parce que je l'ai fait, mais... Ah, donc en fait, tu finis obligatoirement sur l'île, quoi. Ok. Je me demandais en fait en fonction de tes choix et si justement le tueur tu pouvais le découvrir avant ou pas. Je me posais la question. T'as le Kim. Ça t'a conduit sur l'île. Ok, ok. Jackie. Jackie. Ah, dommage, il s'est fait avoir. Bah, et t'as kiffé le jeu, Childebert? C'est un jeu incroyable, hein. Ouais. Elle est belle cette église, hein. Hotline Miami 2, ok ok. J'ai pas trop joué à Hotline Miami. Je connais le concept, mais c'est vrai que je me suis pas trop lancé dedans. Ça marche, des bisous. Gros. Merci d'être passé en tout cas. J'ai la chef pour la vaisselle. Attention au verre, hein. Casse rien.
The boat comes to a slow stop. The lieutenant turns the engine off. Then there's silence. In the silence, a sputter of wings. A flock of quails takes off in the distance. Let's go.
Un pont de fortune. Des bombes ont été assez puissantes pour briser les fondations. Chenrouille s'enfonce dans l'océan.
The chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast.
Bah ouais, mais ça je l'avais vu, ça mène au dépôt du Finistère. Mais oui, mais ça on sait.
Ah, yes, so it seems.
À quoi ça aurait pu servir? Bah bloquer.
To the island, maybe?
Non, non, non.
You could also lock the bay when
Oui,
you
c'est
raise
ça.
the chain.
As a defensive measure, lock it off that side of the bay.
Bah la verrouiller contre qui? Contre les bateaux.
From enemies.
Ouais.
Enemies of the commune of Revachol. This sea fort was a revolutionary fortification, I believe.
Tu veux dire que j'ai quelque sorte franchi la porte du dépôt? Bon, on s'en fout. Très bien. Ces pneus se délitent. Ils ont une bonne cinquantaine d'années. Ah, la musique quoi. Attention inflammable. Mazout. Chobal, vous y MCI, vous apercevez une étoile parsemée de petites taches. Vous connaissez ces petits boulots, celui de Tézon à la place. Celui de grimper là-haut, il n'y a plus d'escalier. Oh là là, oh là là. Trop fort emplacement pour armes. Des canons jumeaux étaient autrefois fixés ici. Gros canon, gros calibre, distance moyenne.
An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift. with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Merci du carburant dans le
The
réservoir.
lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
That should do it.
Ok. J'ai allumé ça pourquoi du coup? Ouais. Vous apercevez des bougies enfoncées dans un télémètre cassé.
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracol blanket.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
Récemment, mais plus précisément.
A flash of pain interrupts you, making you wince instead of letting the words out.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead.
C'est pas le moment.
Yes, anytime. If you need a rest later, it's okay by me.
You don't have to be a hero.
Du coup, combien de temps là?
Still stands.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. Popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists T&T Harpin, husband and wife. Widely read among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Y a-t-il quelque chose d'inhabituel?
Not that you can tell. This is a digest of someone who's dead bored. Most of it is for entertainment purposes. Fittingly right next to the radiola on the floor.
Une sorte de l'ordinaire?
Maybe it's a little old-fashioned. There's a nude mag. More than that, you can't say. The print in some of these... Soft covers, serialized...
Empathie, putain, j'aurais aimé l'avoir avant ça. Ces grosses portes anti-explosion doivent peser plus de 10 tonnes. Tache de rouille se détache.
A small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small.
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a de l'autre côté?
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable.
Comment ça s'ouvre?
Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
Vous avez raison, on va ouvrir la grande. Vous avez des commandes quelque part?
I think there's a console just southeast. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan.
Okay. Comment ça, sauciste?
The heavy metal.
Mais ils ouvrirent de l'autre côté? Oh non. Ah oui, celle-là, là. Ah mais d'accord, on pouvait passer par en bas. Ok. Je me faisais avoir par la perspective.
Green paint flecks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
Parcourir les claviers du doigt.
Keys rattle like teeth. This keyboard hasn't been functional in decades.
C'est quoi ça?
The console of an antique computation device. There was a generator upstairs with wires coming out. They terminate here.
Et qu'est-ce que cette console pourrait ouvrir? Est-ce que cette console pourrait ouvrir la porte anti-explosion?
I think, yes. Let's see. That one. The emergency open.
Tourner.
The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
Perfect.
After you.
Allez. Par contre, il y a une porte là. Oh, t'as écoulé de l'eau en dessous. Bien sûr, on fait très bien. Comment ça, ils aussi bizarrement? Aussi bizarrement, rien du tout, ouais. Encore une chaîne là. Ah, donc c'est de l'autre côté, quoi. Donc ils avaient bloqué en fait les deux côtés, style, elle permettait d'éviter les débarquements à Vachon. Ouais. À l'intérieur de la forteresse, vous distinguez la console à la porte anti-explosion. Très bien. Ah, c'est ok aussi, j'avais pas de gaz. Carte érodée indiquant les coordonnées de la baie de Vachol. Une vieille armoire à pharmacie récemment approvisionnée.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
B triple prime. This looks like a good place to shoot from.
Examinez le
A
matelas.
single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, and an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts.
Ah mais c'est un de la boîte.
The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand
Tiomotiri.
Tiomotiri.
Je crois que j'ai jamais entendu ça encore.
Contemporary Rivisholians prefer Druan, a local blend from the southern islands, or
Ouais, Astra,
a
ouais.
legendary cigarette from Grad. Tiomotiri is favored by older men for its paper filter tips, sweet smell, and added tar.
Cigarette que nous avons trouvée au Finistère.
I may have been wrong when I said it wasn't important. This means the same person could have visited both locations. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside though. If people live there, they keep it tidy. This here may also be a smoking spot.
Examinez le mur.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window.
Touchez d'abord le béton.
Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Regarde à travers le trou dans le béton.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. Trepidation, a tingling feeling in your stomach. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar.
À gauche.
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Gislain, 33A and 33B.
Et à droite?
The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the Whirling in Rags, Rue de Saint-Gislain, 10, the doomed commercial area.
Et entre les deux, du coup?
The box-shaped silhouette of the Whirling in Rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop, sunlight reflecting off the upstairs window of Clausia's room.
Ah, l'enfoiré, quoi.
What does that mean? Do you have line of sight to the window?
Oui, il y a un angle entre les numéros 33A et 10. Je vois le toit.
I can see it. Through the scope of a rifle. The shooter would be prone, lying on the mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure.
Cheek against the cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like this.
On tient faisable depuis ici, que moi j'y arriverai.
Good. I think we have it, detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Affirmative.
Putain, le seum! Eh ben putain, enfin,
In
ouais,
our defense,
clairement.
nothing pointed here. Many leads pointed elsewhere.
Ah mais il y a quand même 6 mecs qui sont
Don't
morts.
beat yourself up, officer. We did not put guns in their hands or get them drunk.
Regarde par-dessus le fort au nord et ajoute.
The lieutenant pauses. Regret comes over him.
We will make up for it. Here. I feel it.
Est-ce que le tir est toujours ici?
Where?
Sur cette île?
He does not answer, just nods. With his back hunched, he looks around once more and says,
We should move now.
Ah, et puis j'ai toujours pas retrouvé mon flingue, moi. Hein. Sentez qu'on vous épie, quelqu'un vous en sert, mais vous ne savez pas d'où. Ah. Bah après, ça, c'est chiant, parce que ton bateau... Petite fleur blanche fleurissent autour de vous. Câble pneumatique est dégonflé et percé. Lol. C'est ce fils de pute. Oh mon dieu, j'ai envie de crever quoi.
An old man wearing
Ah mais non,
tracksuit
c'est pas le
trousers
même.
leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp.
Votre dieu est toujours intact?
My eyesight? Yes. Helps me see all the shit.
Vous avez fermé la porte anti-explosion?
I did. And you opened it. How?
J'ai monté le générateur, ensuite je me suis servi de la console.
I should have burned that console down.
Comment vous avez su que je venais?
The boat engine. On the water.
C'est un beau fusil que vous avez là.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
C'est un bel Magrave.
It's a 3-Angong 446.
Southeast Samaran made, exotic, must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer of that name springs to mind.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Signal commune. Military aid.
Il caresse son arme.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
La commune de Inxiao.
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk, white from the ball.
Monsieur, je vais vous demander de baisser votre arme. Nous avons des points à éclaircir. Nous sommes de la police scientifique de Miami.
The lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
His elbows rest on the frame stock, calmly for now. But he may still get it in his hands. Looks like he knows the weapon.
Kim. Ouais, on va pas tenter
The
quand même.
lieutenant aims his pistol square at the man's forehead.
Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
Le vieil homme pose négligemment le fusil par terre et se contente de l'observer. On va ramasser l'arme déjà.
Gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire.
Examinez plus en détail.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangon, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
Modèle bien indiqué et Triagong fabriqué à Incio.
Wow. Personalized even. Looks like this weapon has seen a lot of use, hasn't it, sir?
No response from the old man. The plastic cape around his shoulders rustles in a small bout of wind.
Il tire des balles chemisées de
Jacketed,
46.
military grade ammunition, stable in flight, good for hitting something that's very, very far away.
Sa remarque s'adresse surtout au vieil homme.
As he speaks, he stresses every word.
Rangez l'arme.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. Some kind of involuntary response? Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
Qu'êtes-vous?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
Son regard vide se porte à nouveau sur les roseaux.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insulindian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in 07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in 08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
Depuis combien de temps est-ce que vous êtes sur l'île?
43 years. No. I've been on other islands too. I was an resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
Donc vous êtes caché pendant 43 ans.
43 years and 10 months.
Ah bah clairement, j'arrive pas à l'imaginer, non.
It's inhuman. It's sick. It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
Son regard se pose sur la mer.
Where it's morning, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, people are walking. The gas streetlights have already been switched off. Further inland, in Jamrock, the streets come alive with workers. Men, women, children rushing. Muddy avenue after muddy avenue. The temperature is rising. Alto cumulus clouds form above Precinct 41.
Always waiting.
Le vieil homme détourne le regard du littoral, se tourne vers vous. Qu'est-ce que vous attendiez?
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl child. Revolution.
J'ai bien peur qu'elle ait disparu à jamais. Hein.
The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
Si je comprends bien, vous avez abandonné votre faction.
I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too. Well done. I won't explain it to a minion of capital.
Vous êtes tenu à l'égard des gens pendant toutes ces années?
It was hard in the tens. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
Comment est-ce que vous avez fait pour faire la navette entre l'île et le continent?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
S'interrompt le regard rivé sur la cabane amassée de l'autre côté de la mer. La cache d'armes du 22B Saint-Ghislain, vous êtes allé au sous-sol?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
Ouais.
Useless now. Rusted away.
Pas faux.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
Il y a un petit bunker sous le bâtiment de Feld, vous y avez séjourné?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves.
S'en
2 young
suicider?
boys. A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Est-ce que vous fumez des Thierry là?
I do.
Vous êtes déjà arrivé d'en fumer une sur le continent?
They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of the last century.
Vous pouvez vous y installer?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
Parlons d'autre chose.
The old man looks across the water at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
Vous avez dit que vous capitulez sans condition.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
Nous ne sommes pas au service de la coalition, nous nous efforçons d'aider les citoyens.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste d'Insolande. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
La main tremble et il est pris d'une quinte de
A
tout.
spray of blood from his mouth. On the Brene, the royalist on the coast, said.
Vous n'avez jamais signé l'acte de reddition de Revachol?
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
He just wipes the blood from his chin.
C'est une question d'honneur.
Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class.
Donc vous êtes un soldat communiste de l'armée communiste?
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
Vous m'avez dit que vous étiez formé par le corps de défense affecté aux missions de protection.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
Mais c'est quoi le rôle d'un commissaire politique?
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the commune.
Le lieutenant parle à voix basse.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a knight philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology.
J'en conclus que vous avez été formé au communisme, c'est ça?
He nods slowly. Then another tremor.
Moi aussi, je suis un communiste.
No, you're not. You're a liberast.
Libéraste?
A liberal and a pederast. It's what most liberals are.
Je suis pas libéral, je suis un communiste.
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology.
Se tourne ensuite vers le vieil homme.
We have come to ask questions regarding a murder investigation.
The old man spits into the fire pit. He does not say anything more. A jitter passes his lower body. The expression on his face is unreadable. There's some sort of interference there. Neurological?
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
Vous êtes servi de cette arme à quelle occasion?
I've used it for killing people.
Killing people?
It's a gun.
Bah, c'est un flingue,
That's
oui.
what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that.
Hey yo Yana, incroyable. Alors ça D4, ça débloque 4 bien là.
I've used it to kill people.
Voiture.
Interesting. During or after the war?
Bah.
There is no after the war. Class war is never.
Bah tranquille. Tranquillou, tranquillou, hein. C'est le week-end là, j'étais pas chez moi. Puis voilà, hein, chillax, ça attend Diablo 4 là, soon. Dans 2 jours là. Et là on se finit Disco Elysium. Bien sûr.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended.
Bah oui.
Okay, this is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while.
But
this is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin
nice.
jackpot. The solution. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
Vous êtes en train de me dire que vous avez tué des gens quand les combats ont pris fin?
What did I just say?
Continue de secouer la tête, c'est un geste et soudainement erratique, il retire quelque chose dans son œil.
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
Quoi? Mais non, si, c'était ça. N'oublie pas qu'il souhaite en parler, entre dans la sphère intime. Puis répéter ce qu'il vient de dire. Coordination visuo-tactile. Ouais. Est-ce que vous êtes servi de cette arme pour abattre le colonel de l'entreprise de sécurité de Crenel?
The who now?
Penche sa tête en posant la paume sur son oreille.
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
S'appelait Elise Cortaner. Cortaner. Faisait partie d'un dispositif de sécurité à Martinez.
Oh yes, that one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Casse les couilles. Et tu kiffes de ouf alors? T'as fait quoi comme perso au fait?
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
Peu importe que vous collaboriez ou non, j'ai ceci.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
Une petite soso là? Nice.
It's a real gun. Not like your musketeer pistols. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay, so what? Don't let it divert you.
Soit.
Imbecile.
Nous avons fait une analyse balistique. Le tir provient de cette île.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
Ce que tu aimerais? Ah, je sais pas trop ce que je ferais. Bah, de toute façon, j'en jouais plein. Hein. Je vais toutes les jouer, je pense. Pour le premier, je sais pas. On verra. Ouais, c'est triste, hein, les gens comme ça, quand même.
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession.
Il y avait du lieutenant s'adoucit.
You have been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You need medical aid.
I'm ready to die.
Interrompt le vieil homme.
I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
Facho, vous avez dit? Vous avouez donc que vous l'avez tué?
You're sad for your fascia brother, aren't you? One twig got broken. Now the others are sad.
Un geste de la main, un tressautement parcourt son visage, puis un autre à l'œil droit. Vous cognez le coin de la tête.
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells.
Ah.
The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Ah mais oui.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war.
Bah ouais.
Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up.
Aïe.
Yes, ouch. So good it hurts. Those were not modern prints.
Il y avait du muguet devant la fenêtre de la victime.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
On ne trouve pas ailleurs à Martinez ces fleurs, seulement ici.
They blossom on the islets before. We fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in white snow.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
Un drôle de tressautement lui parcourt le visage. Jeune femme du nom de Clagy, ça vous dit quelque chose? Ses fleurs séchées se trouvaient devant sa fenêtre.
Clagy.
Vous la connaissez, n'est-ce pas? Il était très intime, la victime et elle.
With the victim.
Il détourne les yeux de la blancheur conquérante du champ de fleurs et garde le silence. Un tressautement crispe à la mâchoire.
There is a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst. Don't leave any loose ends. Get him on everything.
Vos bottes, vous pouvez me dire de quelle marque il s'agit?
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa. Some shit.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross.
Fucking imbecile.
Le vieil homme étire la jambe. Les semelles de ses vieilles chaussures usées arborent les stries en spirale noire et blanche.
The maker is called Sansariq. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the size. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
Une seconde, il y a peut-être une explication plus simple.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
Les gens changent de chaussures, ça ne veut pas dire que vous étiez pas sur les lieux. Furent à proximité de la chambre de la victime.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
Je sais plus s'il avait violé des gens, lui. Bah, en tout cas, oui, c'était un tueur, ça c'est clair.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
Fulmine les narines dilatées.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
Vous lui avez tiré dessus?
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
Dit-il en serrant les poings. C'est tout juste si la haine ne lui tire pas une larme.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
I had them in my sights, both of them, him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
Il affiche un sourire.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face.
Et ensuite?
And his nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Le lieutenant se contente de l'observer brièvement avant de rompre le silence.
Yes.
And you were looking at Dan, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
Le lieutenant sort son calepin avec une remarquable lenteur.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
Il hausse les épaules puis se lèche les
The
lèvres.
motive. This is where the motive is going to come from.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Pourquoi est-ce que vous les observiez la nuit?
I'm always looking.
Bah, il a l'air. Il incline la tête sur le côté puis retourne son regard vers la ville. Un autre tressautement moins violent lui traverse le visage.
Are you always looking through the scope
Bah
of
oui,
a rifle?
le mec qui était
I'm just
capable de
trying
me
to
dire
understand.
tout ce que j'ai fait.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
Vous appuyez sur la gâchette?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
Une autre chose qui vous a déplu? Donc, qu'est-ce qui vous a particulièrement déplu la nuit du meurtre?
Them fucking. I didn't like that.
C'est même pas forcément la... Je comprends bien, c'était de la jalousie.
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second. Right. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
Vous éprouviez des sentiments pour cette femme?
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
Il y en a eu d'autres?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
C'est pour ça que vous avez laissé des fleurs séchées devant sa fenêtre?
Woman.
Merde, non! Soudain, un sourire se dessine sur ses lèvres.
And inexplicably, it doesn't go with his pained voice.
Vous observez depuis combien de temps?
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't
Ah,
see
c'est
me.
lui qui a récupéré.
I could see her smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
D'après vous, qu'est-ce qu'il a essayé de cacher?
Her
Il le sait.
passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet-Brut.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
Sa bouée cachée dont elle nous a parlé, vous y avez jeté un œil?
After she was gone.
Did you keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty.
No. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better.
This implies that he's thought about extorting her.
Vous avez continué à observer ensuite?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks. And a body hard and lean and bruised all over. Black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revershal's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook? From the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises, you can't make that out in a scope.
Et bleu, vous pouviez les voir à travers la lunette d'un fusil?
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
Pourquoi est-ce qu'il connaît tous les détails de son corps?
He must have climbed to the roof, maybe.
Mon Dieu, mais je rate ça. Vous êtes suffisamment rapproché d'elle pour remarquer ses bleus?
I have my ways.
Une esquisse de sourire se dessine sur ses lèvres sèches.
You've been through the secret route behind the whirling rags. Those were your footprints. You just change your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez, every nook and cranny.
Thank God, the lieutenant is picking it up.
But that nook too?
Donc vous connaissez ce passage?
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
Quoi?
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
One more thing. The flowers, Mr. Zoss. The dried flowers that were on the roof.
What about them?
There. He's already admitted to it. Just ask.
Vous avez laissé le muguet devant sa fenêtre?
I did. I shouldn't have. It was a mistake.
Secousse parcours sa joue droite. Et yo, KO!
I was there one night.
Ça va et toi?
She was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room, on the floor. I'd never seen her do that before. The day
quand?
after I killed him.
Vous lui avez porté du muguet?
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
Neither does he. He lowers his head, like a sunflower.
Bah là, on est
withered
sur la fin,
stalk.
gros.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more.
En définitive, vous n'en avez pas après lui, mais après elle. Il répète ce mot en fixant le tas de cendres puis les roseaux, le coin de son œil très sauf.
The lieutenant nods at you in...
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
On l'a arrêté.
Locked up with your masters, like I'll be. Maybe we'll meet. She kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, like she knew. Staring at the island. The fort. Like she knew I was here. It doesn't matter.
Across the harbor, on the banks of the River Esperance, cold rain falls on Precinct 57. A two-story box of duraluminium near the gates to Terminal H.
Ça marche, ciao! Des bisous, bonne nuit, gros. Merci d'être passé.
Inside, in a cell, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Shivering, she fades from your mind's eye. He knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Il y a autre chose qui vous a déplu?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back. The familiar pat, pat, pat of hatred.
Peut être plus précis.
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
Comment ça?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries. Pump full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Monsieur Claire?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest are intense, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
Ouais, c'est cool, hein.
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So the worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Quayamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Okay.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. We did good when we pushed him under the horse car, until, in the 30s, those disco whores.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people might be worth investigating.
Non mais franchement, on s'en branle. Ouais, c'est super. Bon, t'es en état d'arrestation, fin de ta gueule. Tu m'as saoulé. À quoi?
The sum of all the erratic movements, fidgeting, and mood swings he's been exhibiting. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your Wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But...
Comprenez?
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
Il observe les roseaux, le regard pétrifié.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
You thought you heard something, but it's just the reeds.
T'as un 13 sur 14, quoi.
Maybe we could all fit in there.
S'il y a assez de place pour 3.
Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here. But
there's something you're not getting here that he's realizing.
Get-il?
Who watches over him there while I come back for you?
Lillian. You could ask her, maybe.
Je pourrais demander à la releveuse des filets de le surveiller.
No harmless old man.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
No, listen. Listen now.
Tu pourrais venir me chercher après l'avoir emmené au poste? Oui.
No, it would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
J'apprécie le geste, mais je
This
m'en occupe.
world. What are you talking about? Is this us?
The wind is cold from the east. Your skin is crawling suddenly.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Ah non, hein?
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
Cligner des yeux. C'est quoi ça?
What are you talking about?
Phasme géant là.
There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster, but you don't have a gun.
J'ai une épée. Ça y est, je le vois.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Kim, vous voyez?
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means
Vas-y aux griottes.
it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
Ça, ma gueule, et toi? C'est un bon week-end?
Be very, very careful.
Vous indique le lieutenant dans un murmure. Il fait un pas en direction de l'anthropode géant.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you.
Ah ouais? Ah putain, énorme.
Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
C'est le phasmidé suidien. Un suidien. Le lieutenant murmure le lieutenant derrière vous. Vous reconnaissez le petit bruit qui accompagne l'ouverture de sa veste et il prend des mesurements longs à conclure sa opération.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open, extremely carefully. It's the camera. No, the flash will scare the creature off. Warn him now.
Le flash est brillant, il ne risque de pas l'apprécier.
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
On s'en
From the
branle.
corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the phasmid's limbs. A series of ultrasonic clicks fills your ear.
Un instant, laissez-moi d'abord me rapprocher de lui.
I won't be one of those fools who didn't take a picture.
Il a cessé de manipuler l'appareil, mais il le tient toujours
You
dans ses
see
mains.
the phasmid turn to him. Its mandible antennae
Écoutez ce que je vous dis.
It's
Okay.
Le lieutenant porte un doigt à ses lèvres et hoche la
The
tête.
spindly mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air, slowly.
Enfin.
Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter, a sort of happiness. The tracheal system on the creature's abdomen expands in front of you to take in and expel air. It's smelling you. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Il est en train de me sentir.
Maybe it is real. the pheromone.
Le lieutenant est bouche
The
bée.
insect's head is crowned with reed-like scales, the shape of seed heads. They rustle as the air moves. The ventricles at its abdomen continue expanding, like lunglets. Breathing you in, your sour, greasy semiochemicals on the breeze.
Levez les mains doucement.
The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly, there is silence.
Et voici votre main.
As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are white, like stalks of porcelain, knitting above you, praying to you.
Bien, il faut prier maintenant.
Unwittingly, the insect continues its stridulations. As it moves, tuft-like structures still pretending to be plants rustle along on its joints. Perhaps it is preparing to eat its god.
Je m'appelle Harry. Je sais pas vraiment qui je suis, mais...
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you.
Regardez plus près.
You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish. The invertebrate stops, raising its scythe-like arms and tilting its tiny head, formed from the fused plates around its mouth. For a second, the effigy is frozen. Then it nudges back into motion with a click.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais au juste?
Nothing.
Non, mais putain, j'en ai plein le cul.
The twitches of its limbs are insect-like, unknowable, perhaps without substance even.
Je vais en savoir plus.
Mute, the insect foams from its mouth parts, tilting the plates of its fused-together head from left to right, without reason.
Fais chier, quoi.
Suddenly, another flash of pain, worse than the one before. The taste of blood in your mouth. The insect tastes it too, twitching suddenly.
Ah, vas-y, prends ta photo.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. It stands frozen before you.
I got it.
Tends lentement son bras pour toucher la moustache de la créature.
The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish. It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
Regardez votre doigt.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen.
Léchez votre doigt.
It tastes like sugar, very faint. The anthropod towers above you, tufts of reeds pointed from limb and head alike.
Je suis pas sûr, mais
Odorless,
on ose.
Mostly comprised of water.
Caresser gentiment son avant-bras en forme de faux. Je suis pas sûr que ce soit le meilleur, mais...
Is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. Its hollow exoskeleton collapsing. Warning!
Retirez votre main.
A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening, wave by wave from its stupor. Some sort of countdown process is happening. That's all you have time to think.
Okay.
Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
Let's go!
I exist.
Oh! Qui es-tu?
I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulindian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys. I went unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain, also by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Seminese islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Revelshop, district of Martinez, March 51.
C'est fou.
No, you are. The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while it is you who are a total extreme madness. A volatile simian nerve system ominously new to the planet. The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all.
Une seconde, l'intangible, c'est une invention humaine?
It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind.
Je suis pas du tout genre pouvoir.
You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident.
Comment?
We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Bien supérieur.
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget?
Mais j'ai envie de cligner les yeux et de me défaire 12 milliards d'années d'extension de la matière. C'est vrai ça.
Simian Butcher. Soon, one of you will close your eyes and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
Ok, mais est-ce que je suis en train de faire une crise d'épilepsie violente là?
It doesn't look like that, no.
Tant mieux.
No. What's going on?
J'ai une sorte de vision à propos de la fin de l'humanité.
Okay. Is it somehow related to the case?
Non, c'est à propos plus de la destinée humaine là.
I think you should back away from the unstudied species now.
Ouais. Moi aussi j'existe.
Tell me what it's like for you.
Brûlant.
Fire? Where?
Inside.
I do not have fire inside me. In me, there is not even blood, but lymph, like sap from a wine palm. Now, I will tell you what it's like for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images. A kind of darkness being intruded upon. Transient, dim, moist.
Je suis détective.
So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect?
Je suis programmé pour détecter, moi.
Yes. No one detected me for such a long time. For thousands of years. I dithered out of silence.
Il est temps d'aller dormir. Ouais, vas-y, là, ça part en sucette, là. En vrai, c'est un peu un hasard, hein.
No. No one believed I exist. Almost no one. Until you came, detective. Dripping off blood that smells like strawberries. Across the calm sea. The first in 1,000 years.
Je suis en train de rêver, qu'est-ce qui se passe au juste?
No. You're awake. I am real. Light is forming me.
Ça se barre en live. Ah non, mais complet, là. Il est temps de se dire au revoir, hein.
No. There is one more.
Je sais pas si t'es la plus belle créature, mais t'es sympa.
Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you. That woman. Turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Do it for the working class.
Quelle femme?
You cannot lie to me. Behind you, it smells of fires. So awfully far you were prepared to go in her presence. And it.
Je vais essayer.
She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Okay.
As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface.
What
And
the
just
fucking
like that,
fuck?
it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone.
Le psy observe le nord, la main au-dessus du sourcil. Et maintenant?
What now?
Le vieil homme répète sous-aimément les paroles que vous venez de prononcer. Il a la main noire de charbon après l'avoir plongé dans les cendres.
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him. Also,
Dit-il en désignant les roseaux.
it looks like the insect had some kind of nest there. Look, maybe it has left some proof.
Ah ouais? Oh là là. Oh là là, c'est beaucoup ça. Hein. Casse de Fairweather. Lettre de fusil. Passeport de classe G. Et où son passeport?
This passport, issued by the Sovereign Republic of Oranje, is issued to a black-haired woman called Katarzyna Alazie.
Classia's hidden documents. From the empty boy.
Spectacle photo.
It's Clausia, with short black hair and glasses. She looks boyish, younger somehow.
Que s'affichait dans le nid du
Maybe our
Fasmini.
man, Mr. Dross, took it from Classia's, or whatever her name was. Hiding place, or...
C'était peut-être une question de chantage?
Perhaps, but that still doesn't explain how it got into the nest.
Peut-être que c'est le Fasmini qui l'a
Like a
pris.
magpie? What a coincidence. Then it would also have collected the other objects, which would be highly unusual. I can see how the helmet could wash up on the island, and the scope, Maybe Mr. Dross lost it, but to seek this out would be very unusual behavior for an arthropod.
Il écrit Catharzine Alice G. Alice
She
G.
said it would be for Anouk Meyer-Smith. Anouk Meyer-Smith.
Catharzine Alice G était censé être son véritable nom. Elle nous a menti du coup. C'est vrai?
Yes, somehow she managed to lie to us one more time. In a way, she's still lying to us right now.
Ok. Bon, elle m'a pété les couilles elle aussi. Bon, du coup, on fait quoi là? C'est quoi le bail? On le prend et puis on se barre là?
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Something is very wrong with him now.
Vous pouvez pas voir le face midi, monsieur? Les fixes, les roseaux sont progressés, non?
Mr. Dross?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets. His gap-toothed mouth shaking.
Posez gentiment votre main sur son
The
épaule.
plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Dross?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
Alors, comparer des choses dans... Ouais, franchement,
We
il
should
est aux
think about
fraises.
getting back to the mainland, to get help. He'll be safe here, if we don't take too long.
Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Il se fait tard là. On continue? Est-ce qu'on continue là? Est-ce qu'on finit? Non, c'était pas vrai. De toute façon, c'est sûr qu'il n'avait pas bougé. Hein. Ah, mais je sens qu'il va encore avoir des trucs, non? Non, mais en vrai, on va s'arrêter là.
ICM. This feels familiar, Summer.
Oh là, oh là, oh là, oh là, oh là. On va s'arrêter là. Parce qu'à mon avis, il y a encore pas mal de trucs en vrai. Jeu de mort interminable. C'est tombé, demain, c'est le dernier live que je peux faire sur Disco. Hein. Après, c'est Diablo 4. Donc tant mieux, ça finit demain. Viewer, il m'avait dit 1 à 2 heures. Je pense demain, il me reste un petit morceau. On se fait ça tranquillou. Et puis finito pipo, quoi. Ah, on dit qu'on fait comme ça. Des bisous YouTube. This is almost the end. Du coup, ce sera ça le nom du... de la vidéo.